Self-custody is a mission-critical thing for companies that operate in the space. It has a technical barrier to entry for people that are small, and there's a lot of fear around it. I think that if you don't have good practices, I think that barrier becomes bigger and bigger.
Hey everyone, and thanks for joining us on another episode at Ryder, where we talk to the top voices in crypto and we do a little Ryder unboxing. We talk to some of the coolest people about their backstories, about how they got into crypto and what they think about the Ryder One. So I love to start the series with a bit of an intro. So if you can start with an intro about yourself, your background, and what you do at Pyth.
Yeah, cool. So I'm the CEO of Douro Labs. That's the development company that's building Pyth. And I've been in the traditional financial markets for a while. I got my start in New York City at Morgan Stanley, basically doing FX trading. It was at a kind of cool time because it was the digitization of that business. It went from people basically using like keyboards and like phones to then kind of doing everything out over an API. And I got really into that API trading, and I moved on to high frequency trading. I eventually started working at Jump, and I got into crypto there. And this was back in like 2019. And Pyth was started about a year or so later when we realized that there was this big gap. Like we were analyzing how to make bets within the entire crypto ecosystem. We had like pretty strong conviction in like high throughput blockchains. We were very big into Solana. We had convictions on the types of applications that could be built, but we saw this big missing piece because market data is very complex when it comes to traditional markets, and this was missing. So we started Pyth there, and I spun out and moved to Portugal, and I've been living there and growing the company ever since.
Oh, nice. I always love the story because crypto's so new. It's hard to find people that started in crypto, you know? So yeah, I always find the transition really interesting.
Yeah, I feel like people either come from consumer tech, like maybe not consumer product tech, like Robinson, like worked at DoorDash, or from finance, because there's basically, those are the two things you have. If you're like a front end that's facing a user, then you need to be optimizing similar to like the hyperscalers, or you need to really understand financial microstructure, and that's where we are. We're much more in this like B2B kind of enterprise, focus on getting great data and uncomplexifying the whole landscape, because it is pretty complex and it's incredibly expensive. There's this huge paradox with market data. If you ask your average person, or you tell your average person, like, what do you do? It's like, oh, we make the price of like, Tesla really available. Like, yeah, that's the least interesting thing. Because I can just go to TradingView. And if you talk to somebody at like Morgan Stanley or Jane Street and say, it's impossible, you'll never be able to do it. And that paradox exists because there's this data quality paradigm where these institutions rely on like such high quality data, but that's like the most guarded thing from all the exchanges, and it's become the most valuable thing. And then your average person, they don't need it, but they have just delayed data, but you would never be able to operate at this high scale. So that's where we come in.
Yeah, awesome. So what is an oracle for people that are new? Because a lot of our users are new to crypto or just exploring the space, and oracles are where it gets really technical.
Yeah, it gets a bit technical. Yeah, so the easiest way to think about an oracle is we do an attestation. We prove that the data is trustworthy so that it can be used in a smart contract application, right? So like the big thing that blockchain's enabled is a decentralized application. It lives on a blockchain, and you don't have somebody to go call up. Maybe there's a service entity or something like that, but you don't have like the person to go call up. So the trust is supposed to be built into the system. But when you're bringing in data, any sort of external data, it needs to come through some attestation component, and that involves cryptographic signatures. So that's what oracles do. Bridges also do that, like Wormhole does this as well, and they do that for transferring assets. And so the way that Pyth was created is we actually combine together the data source, because there's this other big problem that I sort of articulated a little bit before, which is you can't go buy data from the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange, and you can't use it on blockchains. There's a whole bunch of reasons for it, all kind of little nuanced things, but you just can't, like it doesn't exist. So the reason why we built Pyth was we needed to be able to provide a data source that could then be used on blockchains. And so that's why we're both a price source as well as this oracle. And I'll tell you how they scale in two quick examples. The first one is the oracle one we worked with the U.S. Department of Commerce over the summer.
Yeah.
And so we actually got the GDP and now a bunch of other data to go through this oracle. So we had test that data. It's broadcast to lots of different blockchains. There's over 100 of them. There's 700 applications that use it. And they're able to take that data and have it be trustworthy. So those are the main components. Sorry, the other component about the data side is we now have over 120 institutions providing their data or publishing data into this ever-growing mass of different instruments that can be used on blockchains.
That's incredible. It was in my list of questions to ask. But how did you get that partnership with the U.S.
Department of Commerce?
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, it was definitely a highlight of the year. So if I were to tell myself a year ago that we were going to have a partnership or collaboration with them, I never would have believed it.
It's huge.
It's crazy.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. So when the administration changed, we kind of read the direction of travel. We had the Bitcoin president, and we knew that there's this crypto task force within the SEC. We knew that there was an appetite to explore things or try things. And so we were working with a bunch of different agencies. Initially, it was with the Department of Treasury, and we're trying to figure out how do we help plug in. And then it was through a combination of different people who'd heard about this, where the U.S. Department of Commerce said, "Oh, we should look at this," and so that was great. And so then we basically said, "All right, look, this is how we can create a pilot program for you guys." Worked with them for about 3 months to do this. They wanted to do something themselves, and so what they did was they signed a hash to a bunch of different blockchains. This is sort of the flag in the ground moment. Came from the government. They had to go accumulate gas tokens, and they did that through Kraken and Coinbase, and so that was their initial partnership. It was really cool to see that they set up all those rails, and then we helped them, write the actual GDP to the blockchains. But again, it was inside the hash, and so then what we did is where we stepped in was we grabbed the data to make it usable and then published. What's the coolest part about this is that it's now on public blockchains, because every other government that has tried something has been a private blockchain or some really small pilot program. This is fully usable by anyone, and it's with their full endorsement and support. And I think the reason why we were able to pull this off is the Secretary of Commerce is Howard Lutnick, or Secretary Lutnick. He was the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald for a really long time, and they went through a transition from trading the bond markets as voice broker, the largest voice broker in the Treasury market, to moving it all onto an electronic platform called Fenix. And to him, when we explained this, he's like, "Yep, this is exactly what we've seen before." It's like when I said I'd gotten into FX at that time, he'd seen this exact type of transformation. And so he said, "I get it, let's do this," and was full speed ahead.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Awesome. Well, I can't wait to see what's next for you guys. You really came out of nowhere almost, and it's just exciting to see the growth. And I'm a huge fan of the Milk Road show. I don't know if you listen to their podcast, but when I was doing my research on you guys, I saw that they called you Bloomberg but built different.
Yeah.
How explain that?
Yeah. So we make a lot of analogies with Bloomberg because they're so critical to the financial infrastructure, and there's basically two reasons for it. One of it is because buying data from exchanges is very, very fragmented. And so for example, if you wanted to trade in a bunch of different asset classes, you would have to buy futures data from CME, futures data from ICE, futures data from the LME, and then that's just for certain types of assets. And then if you wanted to get equities, okay, now you've got the NASDAQ, the NYSE, BATS, IEX. So it's very complicated. Bloomberg acts like a distributor of these places. So you get access to Bloomberg and you say, okay, go, give me a pass through to LME, give me a pass through to NASDAQ. So we sort of do both things, but for blockchain purposes. Distribution-wise, is what I mentioned what we're doing with the government. We sign and test it so it's usable. Bloomberg's data is not currently usable on a blockchain. It doesn't go through an oracle, have this, cryptographic proofs that go along with it. And then the other element of it is we provide data. And so rather than being a pass-through to sell someone else's data, we kind of create this original data source. Yeah. So that's why I think we're built differently, but we do perform similar functions. We're the market data beachhead into all of kind of crypto. And we've gone beyond it. So we have a subscription product now that we have had live called Pyth Pro for 2 months, and we're starting to sell that to non-crypto projects as well.
Nice, nice, awesome. And okay, so as the second part of the series, we are doing an unboxing. I'd love to get your opinion on the Ryder. But first, I have a couple questions.
Cool.
What's your opinion on self-custody, and what do you think of people that don't practice self-custody?
Yeah, I mean, I think self-custody is a mission critical thing for companies that operate in the space. I think that it has a technical barrier to entry for people that are really people that are small, and there's a lot of fear around it. And I think that if you don't have good practices, then I think that barrier becomes bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
We obviously, as a company building a space, use lots of different types of custody, all the way from the full custodies to some stuff in self-custody. And we have different types of policies depending upon what it's going to be used for. So it's a critical part of the entire suite of how you're custodying assets.
Yeah. And where do you think it's going to be in 5 years?
Well, I think that custody continues to evolve, and I think that people need to continue to have all the options available to them. But I think they probably want some sort of service providers that are going to help them. And I think it gets merged as well with sort of the credit side of the business, because that's what you have happening in traditional finance, right? Like it's like, go custody my assets there, and then and then somebody helps give me credit as a result, so I don't have to keep moving it back and forth.
What about on a user level?
On a user level, I think that people are, it sort of depends on what's like the fear level. So like, and where your threat is. If your fear level is, like, for example, if you're living in Paris, like you probably have a different fear profile than if you're living in like Portugal. And so you probably would pick different options for that. Like you may be more scared of being hacked by having something in a hot wallet versus having somebody come into your house.
Yeah, of course. Very true. Okay, well, I would love for you to give the Ryder a try and let us know your thoughts.
Okay, cool. It's a very cool box.
And if you have any questions along the way, happy to answer.
All right. Ready to ride. That's cool.
So that's the wireless charger.
Yeah, let's open that. Oh, well, I guess I don't need to open all those parts. This is my first unboxing video of anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not a big unboxer yet. Let's see how I do that. Okay, cool. So, open this. Okay, so I've got my recovery tag here. Very nice labels, by the way.
Thanks.
This makes it very easy. Okay, so this is my Ryder One. This is my wireless charger. And this is my cables. Let's see if
charge the wireless charger.
Yeah. Let's see if it comes with a battery. Should I open this to find out how to turn it on?
Do you have the Ryder app?
Not installed at the moment.
Okay, let's download that.
Okay.
So take a quick break. So basically the way it works is using Shamir Secret Sharing, we break apart the backup to your wallet. And so 50% of it is stored on this recovery tag that comes with your wallet. And the other 50% is on your phone. And it's really cool because if you lose your wallet, you can still recover it using social recovery. So for example, your wife, your daughters, you can all have a piece of your wallet back up. And when it comes together, it pieces together like a puzzle, and you can recover it. Or you can just get more recovery tags.
Yeah. Create wallet. Creating wallet. It's cool. Cool colors on the side, huh?
Yeah, it's really nice. And the LEDs interact with the chip inside. So if there's any issues, it will warn you.
All right, backup recovery wallet and recovery tag here. Back up here. Backed up. Back up wallet on phone. Okay. Back up now. Boom. Silky smooth. Okay. Access my wallet. Boom. Okay, so I received some.
That's it. Your wallet set up?
All right, should I receive something? Should I send myself?
Yeah, you could.
It says upgrade. I'm gonna upgrade. And so for which networks can I use?
So right now we have Bitcoin, Stacks, Solana, and Ethereum.
Cool.
We're integrating new tokens. We've been building for 3 years, and we've only gone to market 3 months ago. So the updates are rolling out bit by bit. We just launched our integration with SPL tokens, which of course...
The Pyth token.
Yeah. So you can now store the Pyth token on your Ryder.
Great.
And now we're releasing our ERC20 launch. So again, 30 tokens. And then as we keep going, more and more integrations are coming through. We integrated with MinPay. So now the on-ramp's really easy. And we're also doing swaps soon.
Cool.
So yeah, lots going on. We're looking for an Oracle partner. And so
Look no further.
Hoping that we can work with you guys as well.
Great, awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so if you could describe the onboarding process in 3 words, what would you say?
I would say fast, easy, and painless.
Awesome. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time today. And
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me here.
I hope you enjoyed your new Ryder.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, please feel free to take it apart and let us know your feedback as well.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
Cool. All right, thanks so much.
Awesome.
It's great to be here.